Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in to the Next Level Broadcasting Watch Party. I'm Charles Strail tonight, your host, just kind of hanging out. Join me is Gabby Schultz, all the way from New York City. So we're going to be bringing the game to all of our viewers tonight between the Gaylord St. Mary Snowbirds and the Johannesburg-Lewiston Cardinals. It's snowy, cold, slippery evening this Thursday in northern Michigan. But for all of those privileged to be joining us here to watch this contest between these two outstanding rivals, they're going to duke it out tonight as they also have their Rivals Rally effort to support breast cancer in Otsego County. The Rivals Rally has been, I believe, going on since 2011 when it was first established between these two rivals. As we settle in tonight for the national anthem, Gabby, welcome in. Are you excited for this game?
Hi, Charles. Yes, so happy to be here. Some of my really fond memories in high school come from playing in this game, so just super happy to be here with you tonight, watching my younger sister play and watching my dad coach.
That's right. So, one of the games that we look forward to each and every year between these two schools. And, for people that might just be tuning in or who are unfamiliar with this rivalry, the last 5 to 6, actually going back almost nearly a decade, this has been the rivalry that typically determines the winner in the Ski Valley Conference between, Johannesburg-Lewiston and Gaylord St. Mary, whichever girls varsity team wins this matchup really has the leg up on the rest of the competition. What can you speak on in terms of the level of competition that it means to play in this game?
Yeah, so I would say definitely before Bel Air kind of came up as another powerhouse in the Ski Valley, you're right. This certainly was a game that decided who won the conference. And I think it made the stakes that much higher when you were playing because, not only are you playing for this great fundraising effort, you're playing for the first time, you have a name on the back of your jersey. So you're playing for your sponsor and the person you're playing in memory of or in honor of. And you're also, fighting against a very bitter rival, hoping to come out leading the Ski Valley.
That's exactly right. And, ultimately the rival here is coming out on top against breast cancer in the fight against breast cancer. So as you touched on it there, it's you have the name on the front of your jersey, but for the first time, the name on the back of your jersey means even more than the name on the front, as it's you're playing in honor of someone or your sponsor, or you're raising money to help the person you're playing in honor of. So a lot of emotions tied to this game. And as we get ready here for the starting lineups, you mentioned earlier that St. Mary kind of had a little rough patch earlier on in the season after they lost 2 games in 1 week, actually 2 games in consecutive games. The first coming to Harbor Springs and the second coming to Bel Air. How have the Lady Snowbirds been able to kind of right the ship, in your opinion?
Yeah, so I think that those games were certainly, I don't want to say a turning point, but kind of lit a fire underneath them. I know that, certainly no one likes to lose. But you really don't like to lose twice in a row and also to one of your biggest rivals. So I think that I've seen a lot of the girls, or rather haven't seen, have heard from my sister and from my dad that a lot of the girls are putting in a lot of extra work, trying to maintain that positive mindset, trying not to, let the losses put them in a certain groove that they can't then break out of.
That's right. So the 5 starters for the Snowbirds will be Macy Bevel, or excuse me, Bevel, Schultz, McKinley, Bailey Morell, and Emma McKinley. So the 5 starters for the Snowbirds. Starting for the Cardinals will be Kennedy Johnson, Jada Marlott, and I believe the ponytail kind of covers up the number, so we're gonna have to fact check the other 3 starters there. Um, I believe it was House, Marlott, Johnson, and we'll fact check the other 2 starters for the Cardinals here. Like I mentioned earlier, this is the next level broadcasting watch party tonight. where we're just kind of sitting back, relaxing on the couch, similar to what you would have on watching a Monday Night Football broadcast with Peyton and Eli Manning. Just two big Snowbird fans watching the game, talking about basketball, talking hoops, talking anything really regarding St. Mary Athletics Conference, the Ski Valley Conference, the rival rally game between St. Mary and Johannesburg-Lewiston, what it means to the teams, what it means to the county, what it means to the conference. So we hope you enjoy that as we sit back, relax. Officials getting ready to tip this one off. St. Mary in their road blue, Johannesburg-Lewiston in their white home uniforms outlined in red with black trim. Tip is up, controlled by Gaylord St. Mary. Bailey Morrell has it. Off to Macy Bevel it goes. Cross-court pass to McKinley. She'll put the first three up, and bingo, gets it to go. Three-pointer good for McKinley to put the Snowbirds on top 3-0 quickly here. And I believe that the Snowbirds are undefeated when they hit that first three of the game. As Johannesburg gets it right back inside to Johnson. She gets her first 2 points of the evening. Snowbirds go all the way down to Grzinski. Grzinski drawing the start tonight. So the Snowbirds are working it around up top. Grzinski has it. And Johannesburg playing a 2-3 zone defense, it looks like. So the Snowbirds will have to contend with that. Bevel whips a pass all the way over to Grzinski, but a nice closeout over there on the far side by Jada Marlott. Trying to go inside, but pass is stolen by Johnson. First turnover of the game for the Snowbirds, and that's one that you kind of want to be able to avoid, as a huge screen gets set on the perimeter by Marlott, but unable to get it to go as Johnson inside. Scrum for the ball, and eventually controlled by Bailey Morrell. So as I bring in Gabby Schultz, Gabby, I do a lot of play-by-play for games, but I think tonight I'm just going to sit back and relax and kind of be a spectator. And I hope everyone's good with that.
Yep, spectating's all I know how to do, so I'm certainly here for that as well.
Just going to kind of be a fan and a viewer tonight. And really for the Snowbirds and the Cardinals, the last game that was played at Gaylord St. Mary was a very close game. Snowbirds had a commanding lead in that one, up by 14 points, and then the Cardinals went on a 11-0 run, trimming that lead down to 3 points. Snowbirds eventually pulled out the victory, won by 7 points, but it was a very close game, to say the least, and we can't really expect anything else here tonight. All right, so the Cardinals are going to work it around, take the 15-foot floating jump shot. I think that was Nowak who got that one to go. We'll have to check the box score. Gabby, what are your thoughts on here and what the Snowbirds can do to break this Johannesburg-Lewiston 2-3 zone defense?
So exactly what we just saw, I think, is going to be super effective. What I really like to see is when St. Mary's adapts to whatever defense is put in front of them and doesn't just stick to that three-point offense they've been running, but kind of mixes it up, plays to the strengths of the players they have, which in this case, Macy Bevel has an excellent drive. And, hopefully she's going to finish that, 7 times out of 10. And otherwise, have Ava, tall girl on the floor, Bailey Morrell. So I think things like that, I think keeping the ball in check is huge for them.
Yeah, I agree with that. And as you said that, Snowbirds missed a three-pointer. Johannesburg bringing it back down the court, advancing in a hurry. Ball tip deflected out of bounds, and it'll maintain Cardinal basketball. Checking in for the Snowbirds is 8th grader Kaylee Jeffers, replacing Sydney Grzinski. So Snowbirds making a kind of a late substitution. Typically the substitution pattern begins at about the 6-minute mark. Your dad showing a little bit more patience tonight.
I agree. I was just thinking that it was a pretty late sub.
So a turnover for the Cardinals as the ball handler stepped out of bounds there. So we have a 5-4 game, as you can see there, and these games really come down to 3 or 4 possessions on so many instances, and a couple series of events where one team makes a three-pointer, gets a turnover, gets a easy fast break layup and then gets a rebound and then gets fouled to go to the free throw line and makes 2 free throws. So a 7-point swing in a matter of seconds in these type of games are typically what decides them. As Schultz's 3-pointer is no good, but as I was saying, these games are so closely contested that a 7-point swing to either side is really, or I shouldn't say really, but oftentimes the deciding factor in the game as Schimmel checks in for Johnson, giving her a quick breather as Schimmel will be getting her first action of the game tonight.
I completely agree with what you said, Charles. I think of the 8-ish Rivals Rally games, sorry, rather 4 because they're once a year. I played in at least 3 of them ended up with that final free throw shot being the deciding factor.
Yeah, when you have so many emotions tied to this game, like we alluded to before the game, sometimes emotions can even out the playing field in terms of talent and skill. And when you're just playing on raw emotion, it can level the playing field sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got another scrum on the floor for it, and the possession arrow, I believe, will favor the Snowbirds. So that's already the second jump ball tie-up of the game, as I believe we're waiting for a fact check on the possession arrow. We'll call it that. We're doing a off-site watch party tonight, so I'll have to keep a I'll have to keep my own possession arrow tonight, so it might be a little tricky. But kind of have a little bit of a walking timeout, so it'll give us a chance to just summarize the first quarter so far. It's been St. Mary with a 3-pointer in the corner, Emma McKinley, and then a driving layup by Macy Bebel for Johannesburg. It's been Nowak and then Johnson with their 2 buckets early, as St. Mary has a full court press, which I'm sure you know all about and the principles behind it. Can you talk a little bit about where the Snowbirds want to trap?
Yeah, so I mean, at least when I was there, and I hope this is still the case, your big trapping points are obviously the 4 corners because you have a 3rd defender in, or even sometimes 4th defender in the out of bounds lines. So if you're dribbling anywhere close to the sideline, near the half court, or down in the corners, that's definitely where we're looking to see a trap. But I think even more so than that, Coach Schultz, my dad, is trying to have a lot of on the ball pressure. So no matter where the ball is, there's always going to be at least 2 girls on that.
That's right. You want to create havoc, force turnovers, and even if you're not able to get into the passing lanes, you want to be able to make the offense think, at least have a little anxiety about making a pass or speed them up and forcing them into a critical mistake. As the Snowbirds just made a quick substitution, bringing in Miriam Morell and I believe Grzinski came back in, but the Cardinals break the pressure, get it down to Jada Marlatt, and she gets it off the left-hand window to go. So all 6 points for the Cardinals coming in the paint. Something that the Snowbirds are going to have to tighten up inside as Ava Schultz takes the corner 3-pointer, nothing but net. Wow, you could hear the strings snap all the way from New York City. That's where Gabby is joining our broadcast from tonight, folks, as the Cardinals come back, take a 3-pointer, rattles out, but offensive rebound inside cleaned up by, looked like Marlatt was in there fighting for it, and a foul will be called on Kaylee Jeffers. That's her first personal foul, first team foul for the Snowbirds as well. And looks like Bailey Morrell checking back in for the Snowbirds as we're starting to see the substitution patterns begin to really ramp up for the Snowbirds, and it's something that you would anticipate to see with the amount of energy that's exerted in this type of game.
Absolutely.
So ball deflected right from the inbounds pass by Macy Bevel, but stolen back And going back inside to Jada Marlott, getting it off the window to go. And her fourth point of the evening as the Cardinals tied up at 8. Snowbirds making 2 3-pointers. Cardinals, all their points coming inside. So 2 different philosophies as the Snowbirds put up another 3. No good. Rebound by Marlette. Cleared. Cardinals coming down with it in a hurry, going off the glass, and a foul will be called on Ava Schultz. Far side officials claiming that she got her with the body on the shot, so that will send, I believe that's House, to the free throw line for the Cardinals. So as we were just talking about, Charles Strail joined by Gabby Schultz tonight for the call of this game. We're just kind of hanging out, watching some ball, talking some hoops, and Gabby, that particular play, you'd just like to see Ava just kind of get back on defense and build a wall, as opposed to, trying to body the offensive player there.
Absolutely. But as the player, the 4 or 5 that's been down there, you're the last line of defense before the hoop. It's hard not to want to keep them from scoring, because that building a wall isn't always effective and that they're likely going to make it unless you foul. So I totally understand the proclivity to kind of throw your body at them, even though it's not the smart thing to do. But I've definitely been there.
What was that word? Proclivity?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's an Ivy League education there. All of our fans. The word of the night is proclivity. We'll have to put that into the next level broadcasting scripts for all of our advertisers. Might have to research that so we make sure we use it in the right tense. As we got a 9-8 game from Johannesburg-Lewiston High School. I want to welcome all of our viewers who are just joining us as Johannesburg-Lewiston swings it around the perimeter. Shots no good. Tapped around, rebound secured by Ava Schultz. She'll push in a hurry. Power dribble up the left-hand side of the court as the Snowbirds now look to get something on the board here, going for about 2 minutes without a basket. And a relatively low-scoring first half, Gabby, as we know these two teams are capable of scoring points in bunches.
Certainly, Charles. And I think we've seen this from the Lady Birds, at least in a few games this year, where they go for these really long dry spells without scoring or even really having that many attempts. And I think that really puts them in this passive mindset where they're not necessarily controlling the tempo as much as they would like
to. And that pass was deflected out of bounds. Checking back in for the Snowbirds is Emma McKinley replacing Macy Bebel, giving Bebel a quick breather here. Coach Schultz wants to get Bebel out before the quarter break, so that way she can have the rest of the 30 seconds here and then the full duration of the full minute timeout. So a smart substitution pattern from the Snowbird bench. As the ball was deflected there out of bounds by Sydney Grzinski, it'll be Cardinal basketball, sideline out of bounds with 24 seconds. Right now, if you're Cardinal coach Heather Huff, you're probably trying to get the best shot possible. Maybe you're content with taking the last shot in the quarter, but they go inside to Johnson, who had sealed off Schultz beautifully, and, well, I'd say that was probably the best shot possible at that given time. And that was a beautifully designed. Cardinals cleared out all of the help defenders by elevating them up toward the half-court line, and Johnson sealed off and got the nice lob pass over the top. It's a tough pass to make, especially from the sideline out of bounds like that. So Snowbirds tried to go to the corner, but ball was stolen. I believe it was stolen over there by House. And with 4.4 seconds left to go in the first quarter, Johannesburg-Lewiston with the advantage. Ball gets into Marlott. She'll race up the court, put up a prayer. The heave is no good. So after 1 quarter of play, Cardinals lead the Snowbirds with a score of 11-8. We're going to step aside here and be right back with second quarter action after a message from the Gaylord Eye Care Center, the Gaylord Eye Center, and J&J Construction. Stick with us, everybody. We'll be right back.
Vision Source and Gaylord Eye Care are proud to be offering their services to local communities across northern Michigan. With locations in Gaylord, Boyne City, Bel Air, and Sheboygan, they're committed to serving you and providing a trusted source of credentials and expertise. If you're struggling with anything vision related, then don't hesitate to schedule a consultation and meet their friendly and experienced staff for yourself.
We all know that Jimmy John's is everyone's go-to option for freaky fast subs. But did you know that they're unveiling new menu options? That's right, Jimmy John's new menu has something for everyone and is a great way to feed the whole family. So, whether you're watching the big game, hard at work, or taking the family out to eat, Jimmy John's wants to make finding a gourmet sandwich easy. The crew of Next Level Broadcasting trusts their pregame meals to Jimmy John's, and you should too, at Jimmy John's in Gaylord.
Welcome into the second quarter action on tonight's Next Level Broadcasting Gaylord St. Mary Watch Party. I am your host, Charles Strail, joined by my co-host, Gabby Scholes, all the way from New York City. I want to thank our sponsors tonight for bringing this one to you. The friendly folks over at the Gaylord Eye Center and the Gaylord Jimmy John's. So as the Snowbirds work this one around up top, find themselves down 11-8. The Cardinals doing an excellent job of scoring with points in the paint. All of their points coming inside and then one free throw for the Cardinals. So the Snowbirds will have to do a little bit to tighten up the defense, maybe find a way to get some turnovers, get into those passing lanes. Snowbirds still without a transition basket. So that's something that the Lady Snowbirds hang their hats on. And we'll look for them to kind of ramp up this pressure as the game continues. However, they won't be able to do so on this possession. Whistled for the travel is Sydney Grzinski. Gabby, what did you see there in the first quarter that allowed the Cardinals to have so much success scoring inside in the paint?
Well, first of all, I sound like I'm very repetitive this season, but I do not think that this Snowbird team puts enough emphasis on rebounding offensively or defensively. And I think we've seen Joburg really attack the rim to get their offensive rebounds and having 2-3 putbacks per possession. I also think that our turnovers are really not helping that situation. So, you're giving them extra possessions where they can take these shots and then follow those shots by rebounding and creating more shots for themselves.
Yeah, so, definitely there are 5 keys to winning basketball games, and one of the main keys is being able to rebound both offensively and defensively. So if the Snowbirds can keep it even in terms of the rebounding margin, I think they'll have an opportunity, as Johannesburg right there gets an offensive rebound put back for the basket inside. So all 13 points, or 12 points coming inside for the Cardinals. They have 1 from the free throw line. But just as you got done saying, it goes to kind of bite the Snowbirds as the offensive rebound was put up and in, as Ava Schultz will take the three-pointer from the corner, rebounded inside by the Cardinals, and the Snowbirds are pressuring that ball pretty heavily, especially on the defensive rebound. Something that you kind of want to, there's a fine line in basketball, especially in the, which theory of basketball you subscribe to, whether you want to get back after a defensive rebound, or do you want to try and force a turnover in the backcourt. So I think it all depends on the personnel and the approach that your team's going to play. Wouldn't you agree?
I definitely agree. I think, just something that we just watched happen that brought this to mind is that the Snowbirds, their press works really well when everyone's in the right position, but more often than not, you find a couple people that kind of get their head turned around, and you see these passes slip through where the girls on top are working so hard, and then there's a wide open out for the ball handler who's under an insane amount of pressure. But I definitely agree. It takes a well-oiled machine to execute something like that.
Yeah, and just as you talked about being under pressure, we saw a pressure-related turnover by the Cardinals, forced by the pressure of the Snowbirds. So let's see if the Snowbirds can kind of break this lull in scoring. They haven't scored since near the 3-minute mark in the first quarter. So since then, the Cardinals are on a 7-0 run as Macy Bevel goes inside. Tough shot, but offensive rebound secured by Kaylee Jeffers, the 8th grader. Kaylee Jeffers playing excellent, and that's her second offensive rebound of the evening. So her energy off the bench, I'd say, has definitely been a key contribution for the Snowbirds so far earlier in this game, as we've got a jump ball possession arrow will favor the Cardinals, I believe. Checking back in will be Johnson and Marlott for the Cardinals, as the Snowbirds will have an opportunity to set up their full court press. What would you like to see from the Snowbirds offensively here to kind of get off this snide here and break this scoring lull?
The short answer is literally anything. I think any kind of offensive attempt that's successful would really be key right now in kind of turning that momentum around. I think that when you find yourself not scoring for a while, it becomes habit, and you're not necessarily looking for those shots even when you're open. So yeah, I think just, a quick little layup by Macy Bevel. I think a 3 by any of the 3-point shooters, Ava, Sydney. I think anything like that would really help light a fire.
Yeah, I think you're definitely on the right track in terms of what the Snowbirds need just to kind of get their mojo back, a little bit of juice or wind in the sails, if you will, as second free throw is no good. Macy Bevel will trigger the three-pointer, no good, just a little bit too strong, but offensive rebound to Schultz. And at least the Snowbirds are now being competitive on the offensive boards, allowing themselves to have some extra possessions here.
Absolutely. I think that's going to be super important moving forward for them.
As they get a cross-court pass from Bevel to Schultz, and Schultz knocks in her second three-pointer of the evening, breaking the Snowbird scoreless streak, putting them back within 3 points. That was a nice little play, setting it up to have the cross-court passes. Wow. Coming right back in and knocking in the 15-foot jump shot is Jada Marlott. So a quick answer for the Cardinals as the Snowbirds now find themselves back down 5. Three-point attempt for Jeffers is good. So back-to-back triples for the Snowbirds. That one coming from the right hand of Kaylee Jeffers. As inside it goes to Schimmel, and whistled for her third personal foul is Avis Schultz. So that will leave head coach Pat Schultz with a little decision to make on the sideline. Gabby Schultz, what's your thought on that one? What would you do here in this position, down 2 points with 3 minutes, 53 seconds left to go in the second quarter in the Rivals Rally game?
Well, I'd first of all take Ava Schultz out. I've been Ava Schultz before, and I think that both from a perspective of the player, you kind of just need to remove them for that situation because, I think fouls beget other fouls, and as soon as you're kind of in that hacking mindset, it's easier to kind of keep doing that, which he did. He just yanked her. But I think also you're looking for one more quick basket for your team to kind of go into the locker room on that high of, if not leading the game, then at least, you've put up one more good attempt.
Yeah, I definitely agree with your sentiments there. It can just be something where fouls lead to more fouls, and that's simply not a good strategy to win. So as the Snowbirds come back out with a little bit of a smaller lineup, it's Grzinski, Jeffers, and Morell and McKinley, Bailey Morell inside. So 4 perimeter players, if you will, on the outside for the Snowbirds, and Bailey Morell kind of operating in the middle of that 2-3 zone defense. With that break in the action, that's going to give us a little bit of time to thank some of our sponsors for tonight's Watch Party broadcast. We'll be back right after this message.
Are you interested in building a new home or renovating an existing one? With over 100 years of combined experience, J&J Construction is one of the most reliable and respected general contractors in our service area. J&J is a trusted construction partner valued by architects, subcontractors, financiers, and most of all, their clients. J&J Construction has been completing quality homes and improvement projects that add value to the communities they serve. They bring a passion for innovation and a commitment to quality to every job they do. Call them today.
All right, folks, welcome back in. 3 minutes, 30 seconds to go here from the watch party as we check in on the Gaylord St. Mary versus Johannesburg-Lewiston Rivals Rally game. Snowbirds find themselves down 3 points, and it's really been a tale of two types of offenses. Snowbirds wanting to get the ball to the three-point line, easy transition baskets, while the Cardinals have really just been pounding inside in the paint. I'm joined by my co-host Gabby Schultz here as we see the Snowbirds miss their shot, rebounded by the Cardinals. Gabby, what are both these teams doing right now that's allowing them to have success?
Yeah, so I think on the Cardinals side, they're definitely pushing tempo. I think we haven't seen a lot of teams this season be able to A, keep up with the Snowbirds, and B, maybe even push past the tempo that we are setting. So I think that that's definitely helping them. And I also think just their physicality with the rebounds are really giving them a couple extra shots per possession that are paying dividends in a way that, we're not getting those on our possession.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way of summarizing what's been going on. Snowbirds getting 9 of their 14 points from 3. Cardinals getting 14 of their 17 points from inside in the paint, as Macy Bebba will drive the lane line, put one up, but she's fouled inside, hacked on the arm by, I believe that foul was on Johnson for the Cardinals. So Macy Bebba will go to the free throw line. First free throw opportunities of the evening for the Snowbirds. So an opportunity, when you talked earlier, the Snowbirds sometimes don't get that many offensive rebounds, and if they're not getting easy transition opportunities from creating steals, got to get to the free throw line to get those freebies. As Bevel makes the pair. So she goes to the line, makes them both. Snowbirds now bring this one to within 1 point. And with that, I think we're going to have a timeout on the floor. We're going to have a timeout on the floor. The Snowbirds are going to take one, and it's a 17-16 point game. And, right now, the Snowbirds have been able to pretty much find their way around the perimeter. Cardinals been having their way inside with the Snowbird interior defense, as I welcome in my co-host Gabby Schultz. Gabby, the tale of the half has been the two types of offenses, but I think what will win the game will be which team can play better defense. What do you say to that?
I completely agree with that. I think right now we're allowing some super easy passes to get through just because we're missing coverage or not calling out screens. So I think if we tighten that up, honestly, we're not playing terribly defensively. I say as they score another point. But I definitely agree that I think defense will certainly decide this.
That's right, and got to give a lot of credit to the Cardinals right now. They know that they have a tremendous advantage inside with their size and athleticism, and that's where they've been going for a majority of their points. 16 of their 19 points coming from inside the paint as Bebel slices through the lane, but that one's rebounded by Schimmel, and coming out of there with it are the Cardinals. Excuse me, that was House with the rebound for the Cardinals, as the Cardinals are going to take a 15-foot jump shot by Johnson, but Bebel with the rebound. 1 minute left to go. 3-point game. Let's tune in and see that That was a nice move right there. So we have a 1-point game, and there's the steal the Snowbirds have been looking for. Turnovers starting to mount a little bit right now for the Cardinals. Gabby, that's what the Snowbirds want to see defensively, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And I believe that was Kaylee Jeffers that
Yeah.
just, slid on the ground. And that's exactly the kind of defensive effort you want to see almost every time out of your players up top. That A, sets the tone for everyone else on the floor, that's, kind of the intensity that you should be moving with. And B, it flusters the ball handlers from the other team. So I love that play.
That's right, especially from an 8th grader.
Absolutely.
Not to discredit her experience, but for her to come out and play with the type of poise and moxie that she can show there, in addition to her effort and raw athleticism, I think it really inspires the other girls on the team who, might be a little taller, more talented to play with the same energy and intensity. So that's what you're looking for in a first or second player coming off of the bench. As the Snowbirds work this one around out top, 30 seconds to go in the second quarter. Macy Bebel up top for the Snowbirds. Cardinals staying in the 2-3 zone defense. It is a battle of the birds. Snowbirds versus Cardinals from Johannesburg-Lewiston tonight. As Bebel works it around to the free throw line, corner kick to McKinley. She takes the three-pointer, no good. Offensive rebound pulled in by Bailey Morrell, goes up with it and is fouled. So Bailey Morrell going to the free throw line with a chance to put the Snowbirds on top before half. That was a really well-executed half-court set going against the 2-3 zone defense, Gabby, but credit Bailey Morrell for being the workhorse inside and gathering that offensive rebound.
Absolutely. And, this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. As soon as you start getting aggressive with those rebounds, it's going to lead to you putting your team in a better position for free throws, for more shots, things like that.
Second free throw is away and good for Morrell, as the inbound pass was nearly stolen by Emma McKinley. She might get that steal if she has some acrylic fingernails on tonight, Gabby. And putting up the shot at the end of the second quarter was Marlotte for the Cardinals. And after 2 quarters of play, we got the same score that we begin with. It's tied, all even between Cardinals and Snowbirds. We're going to step aside and be right back with our second quarter recap, analysis, and what we're looking forward to in the third quarter and fourth quarter in this Rivals Rally game. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back.
Johnson's Propane is Northern Michigan's #1 propane supplier. We have achieved our success through dedication to our customer service and giving back to our community. And now we have decided to make our biggest contribution to our community yet. A portion of our proceeds will be given to the Munson Healthcare Otsego Memorial Hospital to help fund the new emergency department. So when you choose Johnson's Propane, you also choose Northern Michigan. Call our office or visit us online to become a new customer today.
Vision Source and Gaylord Eye Care are proud to be offering their services to local communities across northern Michigan. With locations in Gaylord, Point City, Bel Air, and Sheboygan, they're committed to serving you and providing a trusted source of credentials and expertise. If you're struggling with anything vision related, then don't hesitate to schedule a consultation and meet their friendly and experienced staff for yourself.
We all know that Jimmy John's is everyone's go-to option for freaky fast subs. But did you know that they're unveiling new menu options? That's right, Jimmy John's new menu has something for everyone and is a great way to feed the whole family. So, whether you're watching the big game, hard at work, or taking the family out to eat, Jimmy John's wants to make finding a gourmet sandwich easy. The crew of Next Level Broadcasting trusts their pregame meals to Jimmy John's, and you should too, at Jimmy John's in Gaylord.
Welcome in, everyone, to the Jimmy John's Halftime Show, sponsored by Jimmy John's in Gaylord. If you're in the mood for a freaky fast gourmet sandwich, then look no further than your friendly folks over at the Jimmy John's in Gaylord, proud sponsor of Next Level Broadcasting since the inaugural season back in 2020. Jimmy John's in Gaylord. So I'm Charles Strail, your host, joined tonight by Gabby Schultz, all the way from New York City. We're just kind of hanging out, talking some ball, watching some Cardinals versus Snowbirds in the Rivals Rally game tonight. Everybody in Otsego County is on notice tonight in terms of anyone plugged in to the basketball scene here, especially girls basketball. They know that this game's going on. It's 19-19 at halftime. Gabby, you've been in the locker room here on the St. Mary's side. What can you tell our viewers and our audience about what's being said, what's being talked about, any type of adjustments that are going on in the halftime locker room right now in this game?
Yeah, definitely. I would say that you can expect my dad, Coach Schultz, to not really be talking in a normal speaking voice. I would say that he's definitely going to be yelling, to put it mildly.
Okay.
I think that probably some adjustments that the coaching staff are going to make. They're definitely going to be asking, if not demanding, all 5 girls on the court to be more aggressive offensively. I don't really think we saw this widespread team effort for everyone attacking the basket, whether that was driving in or pulling up and shooting. I think we've only seen points come from, I think only 2 or maybe 3 people. So definitely going to be demanding that offensive aggressiveness. I think also there are just some really, really kind of stupid mistakes they're making on their press, not rotating correctly, losing sight of who they're guarding. That's really, putting the guards who are working so hard in a tough position because it's just super easy to get that pass over them. So that's what I would expect to be hearing in the locker room right now.
Yeah, and just to kind of extend your point, I think the intensity that has been shown on the court, especially, just to name a few players, Kaylee Jeffers for the Snowbirds, Marlotte for the Cardinals. I mean, you can tell that this game means something to these players and these fans and these coaches. And I talked about it earlier, and then you kind of elaborated on it, was that both these teams have 2 different styles of play in terms of offense. And they have 2 completely styles of playing defense. Johannesburg playing their 2-3 zone, St. Mary playing their fast and furious, the press, trying to force as many turnovers as possible for the Cardinals. But whichever team, in my opinion, is able to lock down and play some better defense in the second half, regardless of how they play offensively, I think will be the team that comes out of here with the victory. What say you, Gabby Schultz?
I definitely agree with you, but I do think that for the Snowbirds especially, it's going to really matter whether or not they're able to turn on their offensive prowess, if you will. I think that, if you can play good defense all day long, but if you're not scoring, then it's going to be 19-19 with 20 seconds left. So I agree that defense definitely needs to tighten up, and it can definitely be a deciding factor. But I think the Snowbirds definitely need to kind of hone in on offensive aggressiveness for sure.
Yeah, the offensive aggressiveness is, one thing for the Snowbirds. They have been making their perimeter shots with 4 3-point makes in the first half alone, to my unofficial count. We'll have to stat check that one as well. I believe Ava Schultz with 2 3-point makes, Emma McKinley with 1, and then the fourth we'll do some research on. So 3 3-pointers made for sure by the Snowbirds in the first half. So their goal each game is to make 8 3-pointers. And, with a strong performance in the second half, they'll be able to reach that goal. And I would say they hit 8 3-pointers, they're going to be in the driver's seat to win this game.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you there. I think in terms of the Lady Cardinals, I think, honestly, if they just keep pushing the tempo that they've been pushing and being as aggressive as they have been, both offensively, getting rebounds and stuff like that, I think that's going to put them in a nice position as well. I think their defense could be stepped up a bit, but I'd be interested to hear what you have to say about that.
Yeah, so in terms of the Cardinals, I think their defense has done a really good job. And for them, I think their best defense has been their offensive execution. St. Mary with 0 points in transition right now up until this point. And the Snowbirds, they're selling out defensively to generate points off of turnovers. And those points in transition are points off of turnovers. So for the Cardinals to not allow any points off of turnovers in the first half against this St. Mary team, I think that says a lot about what their preparation level was and the execution that they're having of their game plan right now. Because if St. Mary goes on a spurt where they have 6, 7, or 8 points in a row, it will be because the Cardinals had a little lapse of their offensive execution, and the Snowbirds are able to string together some points off of turnovers.
Absolutely. And I think it's honestly, this is kind of strange to see the Snowbirds not really have any points in transition. I think, historically we've seen that this is a program, this is a team that likes to run. And I think because of that, they're good at it. And so they're kind of able to break away and get those points in transition that ultimately, rack up by the end of the game to 10, 15 points.
That's correct. So as the teams break the huddles here to begin the third quarter, we're going to thank our sponsor for tonight's halftime show, Jimmy John's in Gaylord. So that'll be all for the Jimmy John's halftime show tonight, as we have just under 20 seconds left in halftime. Getting the ball first will be the Snowbirds, as they got the last point of the half as Bailey Morrell went to the free throw line and knocked in her second free throw. So, as we talked about almost until we were blue in the face on the halftime show, these two teams having two different styles of play. Johannesburg-Lewiston without any, or St. Mary without any points off of Johannesburg-Lewiston turnovers, which is a huge stat. Look for that to be the key statistic in how this second half plays out, as immediately the Cardinals get the offensive rebound. Pushing in transition is Johnson. Up to Marlott it goes, where it swung. Cardinals taking the three. No good. So right away, Snowbirds catching a break on an open three-point jump shot by the Cardinals. Just want to remind all of the viewers to vote in the comments section of the video for tonight's Buffalo Wild Wings Player of the Game. Brought to you by your local Buffalo Wild Wings in Gaylord, right across from Meyer. As putting in the lefty flip shot layup was Macy Beble for the Snowbirds, going back down with it as the Cardinals offensive rebound put up and in. So, Gabby, as I welcome you back in, we saw a couple offensive rebounds early on in the first quarter go the Cardinals' way. There's another one right there to even the score back up at 21. Snowbird press causing a little havoc for the Cardinals. Inside it goes to Johnson. No good. Bailey Morrell fighting hard as she always does as she brings this one down for the Snowbirds. Up to Bevel. Swung to McKinley for the wing gun. No good. Already a couple of three-pointers taken for the Snowbirds, unable to make one. Because we still got a ball game knotted up at 21. It was 19-19 at halftime, folks, so keep that as a reference. I want to clean up an error. I believe I said right before half that the game was tied at the same score it began with. Well, it's obviously not possible because the game began at 0-0 and it was 19-19 at halftime. So a little bit of a critical thinking error on my part. So Cardinals continuing to rely on this 2-3 zone defense, which has really made the Snowbirds move around the perimeter, take their outside shot as Schultz lines up a three. No good. Ball on the floor. Kaylee Jeffers again getting the tie up. That'll maintain Cardinal basketball, though. They'll have the possession error. So the possession error will flip back to the Snowbirds as they're going to get the possession arrow. The Cardinals will, that is. So Cardinals break the Snowbird press, but an unforced error by the Cardinals. Johnson called for the traveling violation. First turnover of the quarter, and the Snowbirds want to create those turnovers, but more importantly, they want to create those turnovers for touchdowns, as Coach Schultz calls them. Still unable to do so far in this game as Ava Schultz lines up the corner, three-point gun, no good. So Snowbirds 0 for 4 from deep in the third quarter. Maybe the Snowbirds can find a cutter along the baseline of that 2-3 zone defense for an easy layup after getting a couple ball reversals. What do you say to that?
I think that that's well within our grasp. I think that the big thing for us is just not turning it over within those 3 rotations of swinging it around. I think that's certainly going to kill us if we don't keep those passes.
Yeah, I would agree to that. So, maybe just move the ball from side to side a couple times of possession, make this Cardinal defense work. The Cardinals really only play 7 players as Grzinski triggers a 3 offensive rebound. No good. Put back by Schultz. Tapped around on the baseline, fighting for it. It will be Cardinal basketball. The referees are going to have a meeting of the minds here. We'll see what they come up with and award the basketball to. It looked like there was a Cardinal player who had the ball while their foot was out of bounds. However, the referees didn't see it that way, so it will be Cardinal basketball. Inbounding, tie game, 21-21. Nothing more you can ask for these two rivals to go into the third quarter tied. As the St. Mary Snowbirds force a turnover and get their first 2 points off of that turnover for the game. Macy Bevel going to the line, count it, and the foul. So Bevel to the free throw line for the Snowbirds as they have an opportunity to extend their lead to 3 points. Gabby Schultz, that is what the Snowbirds are looking to do right there.
Yeah, I mean, that is exactly what the press is designed for. That's exactly how you execute it. That's exactly how you're going to run and get those points in transition, is by disrupting the press. That also just shakes up the ball handlers. It gets in their head, that that's happened once, it can happen again.
That's right. So Bevel completes her and one opportunity. Give her 9 points on the evening, 5 in the third quarter for Bevel. As the Snowbirds continue this fast and furious press, swarming the ball handler as they do on many occasions. And Johannesburg-Lewiston still, holding their cool, keeping their composure, and coming back and answering with an and one opportunity of their own, putting it up and in was House, I believe. Checking back in and replacing Emma Schimmel is Johnson for the Cardinals. First one of one, rattles out, and the ball will be awarded to the Snowbirds. So that was a good answer for the Cardinals. The Snowbirds, Macy Bevel making a momentum-changing play. The Cardinals get it right back inside where they've done almost all of their damage tonight, and bring it back to a 1-point game. We talked about it earlier, but maybe the Snowbirds can find a high post entry feed, or as they just go right inside to Ava Schultz, turnaround gun, no good, excellent block out by Jada Marlott down below. And the Cardinals now with a 3-on-2 opportunity. Johnson taking it all the way inside and a foul called on Sydney Grzinski. That was quite the exchange there. The Snowbirds going inside to Schultz, having an opportunity for a 5-foot turnaround. Then Johannesburg breaking the Snowbird pressure, and then Johnson with a 3-on-2. So she goes to the line. Got to be prepared for those emotional swings, especially in a rivalry game like this. As Johnson hits the first free throw, checking back in for the Cardinals is Nowak, replacing House. So Cardinals with an opportunity to take the lead off of the free throw attempt by Kennedy Johnson, and they do. So a 6-5 scoring advantage for the Cardinals in the third quarter, as we had a 19-19 game at half. Macy Bevel drives inside, and the Snowbirds are resetting back up top. Corner 3 for Schultz, short. Snowbird threes are not falling here in the third quarter, as they're 0 for 5, but they're awarded the possession arrow there, and they'll have an opportunity to see if they can get the lead back for their own. As a foul will be called on the far side of the court. I believe that will be on Jada Marlott. That foul will be on House. And Ava Schultz to inbound again. And an unforced turnover by the Snowbirds. Schultz was trying to get a sneak an inbound pass into Sydney Grzinski. It was stolen by a Cardinal, and then Grzinski, I think, might have just fouled out of frustration there. As we've got a tie-up, each and every time I feel like we call this player's name, Kaylee Jeffers, as I'm joined by Gabby Schultz, she's right in the thick of a scrum. Whether she's on the floor, she's got a held ball tie-up. What can you say about what it takes to be an 8th grader playing with such intensity at this level in a game with stakes this high?
Oh, absolutely. I've said all season I love Kaylee Jeffers on defense. I think she's super aggressive and isn't really afraid to dive in there, as you said, which isn't always the case for 8th graders. I think that, trying to score on a varsity team can be kind of daunting, especially as an 8th grader. You're going up against, some 12th graders, 11th graders, and other teams who have had 3 and 4 years of varsity experience. So you do what you can, and sometimes that's just being, the most pesky player on defense that you can be, and I think she's doing a great job at that.
So as we were talking about the efforts of Jeffers, the Cardinals got it inside, and Johnson was able to hit the right-hand hook shot off the high glass. So Cardinals go up 3. And with 2 minutes, 30 seconds left to go in the quarter, Cardinals have outscored the Snowbirds 8-5, giving them a 3-point advantage. So for those of you that might just be joining us or just kind of tuning in the game, I'm Charles Strail, joined tonight by Gabby Schultz all the way from New York City as Bailey Morrell picks the pocket of a Cardinal. Cleaning up the rebound was Ava Schultz, unable to get it to go off the backboard, and Cardinals save it, and up the far sideline they go, eventually stepping out of bounds, though. So, but just to summarize, a huge opportunity for the Snowbirds let go by the wayside there as Morrell and Schultz had easy bunny layups, and they just weren't able to convert. Those are the ones that you come back and just say, darn, I wish I would have been able to make that when you look back on these games.
I mean, for being a varsity team, Charles, this group of girls has missed more layups wide open and contested than I can count this season, to the chagrin of everyone watching. I think that that's certainly been a theme throughout the entire season.
It might have been a theme, but one thing to always keep in perspective is the amount and the magnitude of layups that they've taken this season. So, they might have missed a lot of wide open layups, but they've also taken just an amazing amount of layups in total. So when you take as many layups as they do, you're going to have some of those that don't bounce your way or some of those that you just flat out miss. And I think that's, sometimes we're a prisoner of the moment, and we remember those layups that, he just flat out missed and they were easy. But then again, you don't take into account those layups that were contested that were harder, and you just say, oh, we made that layup, why couldn't we make the wide open one? I think you just have to look at each one in a vacuum and analyze it individually. As Grzinski's going to take and make her first 3-pointer of the game, tying the score at 27-all. So the Snowbirds hit their first 3-pointer of the third quarter. Grzinski good from the far side wing as the ball is stolen inside by Bailey Morrell. Snowbirds get the turnover right to Bevel. She should go to the corner for another 3 for Grzinski. She does, and no good. Offensive rebound put back and in by Ava Schultz, so a quick 5-0 run for the Snowbirds. And we talked about it at halftime, being able to go on these quick little spurts, hit a 3-pointer, get a steal, get a layup. 5-0 run for the Snowbirds as they have a 2-point lead against Joburg. Another steal almost a steal by Bailey Morrell, and she is laying it all out on the court tonight. Taking the 3-pointer for the Cardinals is no good as Grzinski lets this one go out of bounds. Hectic 45 seconds of basketball action there, Gabby Schultz. We talked about those spurts that the Snowbirds can go on, and that was one right there. We just witnessed it.
Oh, absolutely, Charles. I also think that, especially like we talked about, I think way back even before the game started, so that's what's going to win this, is who can string together the most moments like that, because it's a lot of, back and forth, even scoring, but those moments where you're going up 3 or 5 are really going to start to add up.
That's right. So Snowbirds are content to take the last shot of the quarter here. Jeffers sets the ball screen up top, and she's called for the offensive foul. They're saying it was an illegal screen called on Kaylee Jeffers. Jeffers set the screen on a Cardinal who is definitely larger than Jeffers, and so as we have the end of the fourth quarter, 0.9 seconds left to go. Snowbird basketball up 2 points, and what can I say? This is the type of game that you want in a rivals rally, and the Snowbirds are just going to let the clock end with 3 quarters of play in the books. Snowbirds up 29-27. This is the next level broadcasting watch party for the rivals rally game between the Cardinals and Snowbirds. We'll be back with fourth quarter action right after this.
Vision Source and Gaylord Eye Care are proud to be offering their services to local communities across northern Michigan. With locations in Gaylord, Boyne City, Bel Air, and Sheboygan, they're committed to serving you and providing a trusted source of credentials and expertise. If you're struggling with anything vision related, then don't hesitate to schedule a consultation and meet their friendly and experienced staff for yourself.
Are you interested in building a new home or renovating an existing one? With over 100 years of combined experience, J&J Construction is one of the most reliable and respected general contractors in our service area. J&J is a trusted construction partner valued by architects, subcontractors, financiers, and most of all, their clients. J&J Construction has been completing quality homes and improvement projects that add value to the communities they serve. They bring a passion for innovation and a commitment to quality to every job they do. Call them today.
Okay, welcome in everyone joining in on the Next Level Broadcasting watch party for tonight's Rivals Rally between the Gaylord St. Mary Snowbirds and the Johannesburg-Lewiston Cardinals. We want to thank some of our sponsors, as always, who support Next Level Broadcasting in affiliation and sponsorship with Gaylord St. Mary Athletics. That'd be J&J Construction, the Gaylord Ice Center, Gaylord Jimmy John's, Regan Babel Realty of Coldwell Schmidt Bank Realtors, and Next Level Sandbag, and also Schultz Marathon Party Store. So, as the Snowbirds get the rebound, up the floor they go in a hurry. Sydney Grzinski driving through the lane, right-handed scoop shot, no good. Offensive foul called on Ava Schultz. That will be her fourth personal foul. That is not what Snowbird fans wanted to see in the first 30 seconds of the fourth quarter.
Absolutely not, especially because, playing with that fourth foul, you're so much more timid, you're so much more cautious, and that can lead to you giving up some points that you might not otherwise have just because you're a little nervous to get super physical.
And it's directly going to lead right now to a Cardinal 1-1. So with 7 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter, the Cardinals will be shooting at the free throw line for a 1-1 for the first three more fouls and then a two-shot penalty after that. So a huge advantage coming for the Cardinals in the fourth quarter by being in the penalty bonus situation, as the first free throw is good at the line. So that's something that the Snowbirds really need to be careful, and you can't foul now that the Cardinals will be shooting in the penalty for the rest of this quarter. So Macy Bebel dribbling around up top. Sydney Grzinski taking the deep three, rattles it around and down. Hit every single part of the rim, the backboard, the framing of the basket. Hit a couple of screws and then went in. So Grzinski gets that one to go. Her second three-pointer of the evening. Snowbirds up 4. Offensive rebound, held ball tie-up on the floor was Bailey Morrell. Sydney Grzinski got down and dirty on the floor for that one. So she'll get the ball back to the Snowbirds as they had the possession arrow. Gabby Schultz, the Snowbirds starting to turn it on a little bit. Playing some inspired basketball, but got to give both teams credit here. Really, really willing to stick their nose into those held ball situations to get those tie-ups, those jump ball calls. It's do or die time right now. Fourth quarter, leave it all on the line as a travel was called on the Cardinals. 4-point lead for the Snowbirds. I've got to stop and catch my breath. So as we hit the 6:30 mark in the fourth quarter, Snowbirds up by 4. And Bailey Morrell driving baseline, and too much heat on that pass as she was trying to get it back out to Macy Bebel. But The Snowbirds will have an opportunity to set up their full court press now because of that. And Snowbirds pressuring the ball as they always do, almost stolen on the far side of the court by McKinley. The Cardinals just whipping these passes around and then driving inside. Ball eventually stolen and taken away by the Snowbirds, and they come back down the floor. That's Macy Bebel controlling the tempo for the Snowbirds like she always does. Back it goes far side to Krasinski, and stolen up top. Cardinals with an easy run out, and good. So that's one of the situations that you don't want to see if you're a Snowbird fan. If you're a Johannesburg-Lewiston Cardinal fan, you want to watch that on repeat, because that's exactly what you need in order to take a firm hold on this game. 2-point game. Snowbirds up 32-30. So with 5 minutes left, Gabby, what would you be looking to run here for the Snowbirds against this 2-3 zone defense? Any particular sets or ball movement that you would like to see the Snowbirds incite?
I'd love to see a skip pass or two across the whole zone. I think that we haven't seen much of that all season, let alone this game. And I know that my dad was saying it helps when your players are strong enough to make that kind of pass, but I think there are a couple out there that could definitely get it across, and that would really help.
Yeah, I certainly agree and concur with that statement, as Coach Pat Schultz is going to take a timeout, and that's going to give us a little bit of time to thank some of our sponsors tonight for bringing this live watch party right to you in the comfort of your own living room. We want to thank our friends over at J&J Construction. Listen, folks, during quarantine, we've all been watching these DIY shows. Chip and Johanna Gaines have been on HGTV all the time, so you might have gotten yourself in a little over your head with a home renovation project. But if that's the case, look no further than J&J Construction. Not only are they the best builders around, but they can also get you out of a sticky situation that you got yourself into with your own DIY project. That's our friends at J&J Construction. Go where the builders go and trust the pros at J&J Construction. Also, the Gaylord Eye Center. And if you're seeing this right now in full HD as we are, watching it from the couch or wherever you're watching from tonight, it's brought to you by the Gaylord Eye Center with 4 locations in Gaylord, Boyne City, Sheboygan, and Bel Air. So representing pretty much all of northern Michigan is the Gaylord Eye Center. I'm Charles Strail, joined tonight from New York City. Gabby Schultz on the call line tonight, helping out as we have this watch party between the Gaylord St. Mary's Snowbirds and the Johannesburg-Lewiston Cardinals. Gabby, with 5 minutes left to go in this game, what are you looking for from both teams?
I think, honestly, you said this earlier, good defense is really going to make a huge difference here. Who's not giving up stupid, cheap fouls, who's kind of putting pressure on the ball and inciting turnovers. I think that's going to be super important.
Well, we'll see, how accurate your insight is, because it's been pretty spot on to go, 3.5 quarters as Macy Bebel cuts through the left side of the defense, tosses up a 7-foot floater, drops it off the high glass, and gets to go for the Snowbirds, putting them up 4. Give Bebel 13 points on the evening, but coming right back down the floor are the Johannesburg-Lewiston Cardinals. They get it inside, up, and in. So 2-point lead for the Snowbirds. 4 minutes to go in this Rivals Rally shootout game. High ball screen up top. Bebel's going to split the defense. No good. Offensive rebound. Kaylee Jeffers kick out for a 3. Ava Schultz, no good. And loose ball foul. Oh, we've got a no call. Excuse me. And as you can see there on the far left side of your viewing screen, looked like some members of the St. Mary boys varsity basketball team were fired up about that no call. So 4 minutes to go. 2-point game. Buckle up, folks, because we got a Rivals Rally shootout game coming right down to the wire. As the ball's stolen, taken away by Bailey Morrell. No call by the officials as Morrell hit the deck hard. Wow. She went down. Actually, excuse me, that was Emma McKinley, who looks to be a little shaken up there. As I welcome in Gabby Schultz again. Gabby, the last 3 minutes or 4 minutes of this game might get a little rough, but the Snowbirds being able to force turnovers here could really help them put this game away. What do you think?
Absolutely, yeah. I definitely think that the last few minutes of any Joburg St. Mary's game get a little chippy. And I think, it's kind of 50-50 whether the refs let a little bit slide or they're really trying to call everything. I've played in games where both have been true. So I think from, the last 15 seconds, we saw they were going to let him play a little bit because I think those were a bit questionable no calls. So I guess we'll see if that holds on both ends.
Yeah, we'll certainly see what happens and what unfolds right after this commercial break.
We all know that Jimmy John's is everyone's go-to option for freaky fast subs. But did you know that they're unveiling new menu options? That's right, Jimmy John's new menu has something for everyone and is a great way to feed the whole family. So, whether you're watching the big game, hard at work, or taking the family out to eat, Jimmy John's wants to make finding a gourmet sandwich easy. The crew of Next Level Broadcasting trusts their pregame meals to Jimmy John's, and you should too, at Jimmy John's in Gaylord.
Okay, folks, welcome back in. We've got a 2-point game between the Gaylord St. Mary Snowbirds and the Johannesburg-Lewiston Cardinals. 3:51 left to go in the fourth quarter in this Rivals Rally game. It's been a tight game from start to finish, or where we're currently at. Snowbirds taking the deep 3 shot by Schultz. No good. Offensive rebound brought down by Grzinski. Snowbirds resetting up top. Grzinski dials one up from Atlanta and knocks it in, rips the nets. Little sweet string music for Sydney Grzinski as she gets that one to go. Her third 3 of the second half. Cardinals go back inside to answer right away as we've got a 3-point game again. And stolen on the far side by Johnson. She'll take it in for the easy deuce. 1-point game, 3 minutes to go in this Rivals Rally game. Snowbirds go up the floor to Grzinski where they'll set up shop to Bebel. Bebel will drive the lane, drop it in to Bailey Morrell. Up and in, and one opportunity coming for the senior Morrell. Each team right now throwing haymakers, standing toe-to-toe in the ring, just letting it fly. This is an unbelievable game right now, folks. If you're just joining us, I'm Charles Strail, joined by Gabby Schultz. She went up on the New York City subway station, so she is going to be joining us again here in about 2 or 3 minutes as she had a little traveling to do, but she's watching it from her handheld phone on the subway. So inside it goes. Johannesburg getting it to go off the glass. Right-handed bank is good. 1-point game, 2:30 to go. Ava Schultz teeing up the 3, no good. Rebound inside by Macy Bebel. She's on the deck for it. Gets it to Kaylee Jeffers. And the Snowbird bench saw that opportunity to take a much-needed 30-second timeout. So with 2 minutes, 28 seconds left to go. And this game, well, what can we say? We've got a Rivals Rally game, 39-38. 30-second timeout right now on the floor by the Snowbirds. And this game, if you're not familiar with it, there's so much emotion just pumping through the veins of every single spectator watching online, watching in attendance, living and dying at the text updates that they're getting on their phone from their loved ones who are at the game. This game means so much, not just for basketball, but also for the cause of raising funds for breast cancer awareness. So the Snowbirds will inbound this one. Bebel, Jeffers, Schultz, Grzinski, and Morrell, the 5 on the floor for the Snowbirds. 2 minutes, 20 seconds to go. Grzinski tees up another 3 and drops it. And Grzinski with 4 3-pointers in the second half, and she's called for a player control foul, so that will put Johannesburg-Lewiston to the line for a 1-and-1 opportunity. But Sydney Grzinski lining them up and knocking them down from deep in the fourth quarter here with 3 made 3-pointers. And they couldn't have come at a more well-timed spot for the Snowbirds, as the Cardinal defense has really done a good job of locking down the Snowbirds inside. As the first free throw attempt is good for the Cardinals, so we're back to a 3-point game. So the Cardinals make both free throw attempts, and we've got a 2-point game between Cardinals and Snowbirds. Rivals rally game. Each team looking to contend for a Ski Valley championship. If the St. Mary's Snowbirds win this one, they need a couple other teams to win in sequential fashion in order for the Snowbirds to repeat their conference championship. But none of that matters right now, as they got a minute 40 to go. Snowbirds starting to work some clock. Macy Bebel, a magician, a maestro up top with the ball. It goes to the far corner, back up top to Bebel, as the Cardinals will need to foul to establish some fouls, as the Snowbirds are not in the free throw penalty yet. The Cardinals are not in the penalty yet. So they will need a couple more fouls before the Snowbirds will be shooting the 1-and-1 bonus. It's been a crazy game if you're just joining us now. Most of this game has been played within a 5-point margin. And I'm going to take a quick breather, and we're going to be right back in 30 seconds after this message from our friends at J&J Construction.
Are you interested in building a new home or renovating an existing one? With over 100 years of combined experience, J&J Construction is one of the most reliable and respected general contractors in our service area. J&J is a trusted construction partner valued by architects, subcontractors, financiers, and most of all, their clients. J&J Construction has been completing quality homes and improvement projects that add value to the communities they serve. They bring a passion for innovation and a commitment to quality to every job they do. Call them today.
All right, folks, here we go. Buckle up, close your eyes, say a rosary, whatever you've got to do to help calm those nerves. We've got a minute 23 left on the clock between the Snowbirds and the Cardinals. The rivals rally. Everything's up for grabs here as the Snowbirds inbound, looking for a decisive win over their county rival, the Johannesburg-Lewiston Cardinals. Snowbirds up 2. Ava Schultz is going to drive and get shut off as the Snowbirds are now trying to trim down the clock, as Schultz had an opportunity to drive hands off, and fouled on the play is Kaylee Jeffers. So that will send the 8th grader, Kaylee Jeffers, to the free throw line for a 1-and-1 opportunity for the Snowbirds. Big moment now for the 8th grader. However, she's probably not even thinking about it. And, you know, with the amount of intensity and effort that she's put forward into this game, the pressure really doesn't even factor in while you're standing at the free throw line. First shot's away and no good for Jeffers as Cardinals come out of there with the rebound. 1 minute left to go. 60 ticks remaining on the clock. Let's see what happens. Cardinals working around the perimeter. 3-pointer taken, and offensive rebound off of a Snowbird. Kaylee Jeffers had a block out and tipped it off of her teammate Bailey Morrell. That one just kind of went by the wayside for the Snowbirds with an opportunity to secure that defensive rebound. Still with a 2-point lead and advantage, though. Cardinals with the ball inside. I would imagine the Cardinals want to get this ball inside to Johnson or House, but the ball's on the ground and tied up by the Snowbirds. Possession arrow favoring the Cardinals, so they'll maintain possession of the ball. That was Macy Beble, who got on the deck in order to tie that one up. So with a 2-point advantage, the Johannesburg-Lewiston coach Heather Huff is going to take a quick TO. We're going to keep it right here with everyone and just talk about how we got here. So the fourth quarter has been fueled by the Snowbirds' sharp shooting Sydney Grzinski with 3 3-pointers made in the fourth quarter, giving the Snowbirds the 2-point advantage that they have. The Cardinals, meanwhile, have been doing all of their damage inside, being Johnson, House, Jada Marlott. Those three have been able to keep the Cardinals within scoring distance and within typically 5 points of the Snowbirds. And now we have a 2-point game with Johannesburg-Lewiston inbounding on the baseline. Let's see what they've got drawn up here out of the timeout. Macy Beble almost coming away with the steal and can't secure the defensive rebound. The quick hands of the Snowbirds right now causing so much havoc for the Cardinals defensively, but just unable to secure those defensive rebounds, those critical defensive rebounds inside for the Snowbirds. As the Cardinals get the ball inbounded, we've got 30 seconds to go. Clock keeps ticking away. Johnson will be called for a travel. Couldn't sneak the Euro step through the Snowbird defense. And Johannesburg-Lewiston is going to have to set up their full court press here. Let's see how the Snowbirds can handle this. The first time the Cardinals have pressed at all in this game. Let's see what the Snowbirds can do here to beat this Johannesburg-Lewiston press. They go to the corner to Bailey Morrell. She's going to dribble, turn it around, and gets it to Macy Beble. Macy Beble is going to come out of there with a head of steam, and an offensive foul is called on the backcourt on Ava Schultz. It's whistled for an illegal screen. That's a player control foul, though, so the Cardinals will not be going to the free throw line. So that's the 5th foul on Ava Schultz, which is huge as it pertains to the defensive rebounding ability for the Snowbirds. So Cardinal ball inbounding. As I said earlier, a player control foul does not give the team the foul was against, or a player control foul does not incite a free throw. So Cardinals will have it on the baseline. It goes inside, and a pushing foul will be called on Sydney Grzinski, so that will send, I can't make out the number for the Cardinals, but it'll send a Cardinal to the free throw line for a 1-and-1 opportunity. Gotta have ice water in your veins right now. Each team has had a chance to go to the free throw line. St. Mary had a chance to seal it from the line with a 1-and-1 opportunity. Johannesburg-Lewiston now at the line for 2 shots, as the Snowbirds are in the double bonus penalty. So 2 shots at the line for the Cardinals. First shot rattles out. Oh, man, tough luck miss for the Cardinals as full timeouts taken by the coach Heather Huff of the Cardinals, as she wants to talk about different situations and scenarios and what she wants to do, make or miss. A lot of coaches right here in this situation, you want to make this free throw and then immediately get into your press. The St. Mary's Snowbirds will be shooting a 1-and-1 on any foul that the Cardinals have. So a 1-and-1 free throw for any Snowbird, make or miss regarding the outcome of this free throw for the Cardinals. So for the Snowbirds, one thing that you want to talk about is if you give up an offensive rebound, you do not want to foul. An offensive rebound would put Johannesburg-Lewiston right at the free throw line, and if they're able to get the shot up, a potential and 1 opportunity. Cannot have that. If a make for the Cardinals, Snowbirds will be able to run the baseline on their inbound attempt. So you want to talk about that in your timeout, your huddle right now, the different scenarios that you need to work in, and each one you need to account for coming out of this timeout, regardless of if the shot is made, if the shot is missed, what each player on the court all 5 players need to be connected mentally right now. So let's see what happens. So second free throw is good. Macy Bevel has it. She has to get it up across the floor. She does. Breaking the press is Emma McKinley. Gets it to Bailey Morrell. Cardinals will need to foul Morrell. 10 seconds left to go. Morrell is fouled on the far side. Excuse me. McKinley fouled on the far side. So that will send Emma McKinley to the free throw line for a 1-and-1 free throw opportunity. 6.4 seconds left to go here. For everyone watching, we want to thank you for tuning in to the Next Level Broadcasting watch party. This one has been a close game from the start. Played within a 6-point margin throughout the entirety of the game pretty much, as McKinley to the line misses the first of her free throw attempts. Clock is running. Snowbirds do not want to foul here, as that's going to do it. And with that, the Gaylord St. Mary's Snowbirds are going to come out of here with a win of epic proportion in the Rivals Rally game, getting a 42-41 victory over the rival from 8 miles to the east, the Johannesburg-Lewiston Cardinals. I don't know what else to say except what a ball game, what a game all night. Both of these teams came out and played their absolute hearts out. Kudos and congratulations to both squads for an amazing game. That's going to do it for my coverage of this watch party tonight. We will be back next week. Thank you, and have a great night, everyone.